They told me it couldn't be done. I was heading into my junior year of college, a little bit lost. I wasn't sure where I was going, and I had just decided I wanted to go to nursing school. So I walked into the dean's office, all excited, and they said, "We have a 4-year program, and it's only done in 4 years. And you're going into your junior year. It cannot be done." And I left pretty defeated. And then I called my dad. Good morning, day 48 of Turquoise Rising. So when I was at Catholic University right near the Capitol in Washington, D.C., I was surrounded by government, congressmen and women, internships, possibility everywhere. I was really considering journalism. I love psychology, love government, and I was all over the place. And my dad finally sat me down and said, "I think you should get a math or science degree, especially as a woman. Get a degree you can use without a master's, so if you want to take a few years, you can get a job. And we need women in math and science." And that's what I really want you to do. And I was stunned. And I thought about it and looked at him and said, "Well, Catholic is top 10 in the country for nursing right now. What do you think?" And he lit up. That was such a fantastic idea. You can always use a nursing degree. There's all kinds of ways you can use your degree in nursing. And he said, "Imagine, even if you're 50 years old and you need a job, you can always go into nursing." The irony. So when the dean's office told me it was impossible, my dad got in the car, we made an appointment, and he drove down to DC, and we sat across from the dean of nursing. And he was just his charming self, and he was like, "You're telling me it can't be done?" No. What if she goes on summers? Well, no. What if she takes classes at other universities too? Maybe. And after a whole lot of discussion, I walked out of there committed to a 5th year of college and a 4-year nursing degree done in 3 years. Here was one of the mountains that this brought forward. Only 2 of my credits, my first 2 years, were going to transfer. 2 philosophy courses. I had no electives at all, and I had to do all of the prereq sciences from scratch. So I basically started college over, and I went year-round for 3 years straight. I did a 4-year program with more than 800 clinical hours, and I worked full-time at a bar the whole way through. I took classes at 4 different schools to pull this off. Catholic University, University of Maryland, which I loved, UDC, and Nassau Community College. I took the metro and the bus, and depending on the day and the weather, I walked. I took organic chemistry over the summer, living back home with my parents, and I had the only 100 in that professor's history because I studied with my dad. And there was the clinicals. The part that actually makes you a nurse, right? The clinicals. And I loved OBGYN. The first birth I ever saw was a C-section, and the doctor thought she was hilarious. She lifted the placenta, held it open in her hands, and looked right at Dad and said, "Hey, Dad, how about some pizza?" And he passed out cold right on the floor. That little baby came into the world, and the father hit the deck. I will never forget it. The one patient that I carry with me was a colonel. He was an Air Force colonel at the VA, and he had Lou Gehrig's ALS. He couldn't move, he was paralyzed, and his body had failed him. But his mind was perfectly intact, and he was sharp and loving and generous. And he decided that the best thing he could do at this point in his life was to let students train on him. And going to sit with him was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had. And it ripped my heart because he truly could have been anybody's dad laying there. He wasn't very old at all. And there was a man on the psychiatric unit who was an older gentleman getting treatment for wildly severe depression. I mean, he didn't speak. He didn't look at anyone. He was kind of catatosed. And never been on a psych unit, and honestly, I was a little bit scared and nervous. But I sat down next to him, and he started to speak to me. And the staff couldn't believe it. And he doesn't do this. We've never seen him speak. And I just wanted so badly to do the right thing by him. And the part I find so ironic all the time is the two things I disliked most in all of nursing school were my psych rotations and pharmacology and pure memorizing. And I went on to spend years in pharmaceutical sales and working in behavioral health. So never say never. Because the thing you say you'll never do is exactly the thing that comes to find you. I guess now that I'm a finder, I know that nursing gave me so much of who I am. The calm under pressure, the deep knowing that you'll get through hard situations, and the organization and the preparation. And it's being an advocate. In nursing, you hold the ethics, and you hold the line, and you speak for the person who can't. I learned that. And it's taking something impossibly complicated and breaking it down so every single person understands it in the room that you're speaking to and is on the same page. And it's having the hard conversations and saying the things that someone may not be ready to hear, but it's saying it so they actually trust you and know your intentions are for their good so that they can hear you. And that is every bit of who I am today and how I lead today. And what I'm most proud of, finishing in 3 years when they sat across from me and told me it could not be done. I guess they didn't want their program to be done in 3 years. I did it, full-time job and all. And amazingly, I still had a life and still made some lifelong friends and still had fun. Unfortunately, I was lucky enough to help a lot of people along the way. Apparently, I'm the one who runs towards emergencies when everybody else tends to back away. I was on a softball field in Long Island City, and in the middle of someone's moment, right there, I was taking control of the situation, holding steady until more help comes. That's always been me. I was literally just walking to brunch. And that's the nurse. And that's the girl who was told it couldn't be done and did it in 3 years anyway. And every skill she earned in those classrooms is what I carried forward now into recalibration and the next act. I am Kimberly Shahan, founder of the Turquoise Collective, and this is my story. 90 days unfolding, live, unfiltered, built on camera, one day at a time. Most mornings, I walk Rico and the beaches and the Intracoastal Palm Beach, where I voice record my thoughts, my stories, my reflections, and I chase the light. Then I write them. From the balcony, I hit record and I share it here. This is day 48. If you're in your own reinvention, come and walk with Rico and I. Subscribe below and rise out loud.